Hello, beautiful people, and welcome to Our Power is Within, a weekly podcast where you will hear inspiring testimonials by everyday people who have healed their bodies and minds of chronic pain, illness, and or dis-ease. Learn about different modalities for neurohacking, rewiring your brain, upgrading your mind, and healing your body so that you can take your power back. Wow is all I have to say today. I hope that you will be as excited as I am as you listen to this wonderful conversation with Ashley Lauren. Let me start by saying that Ashley has the most wonderful laugh. I truly felt like I could feel her spirit every time she laughed. We get into the meat of her journey and all of the physical, mental, and emotional benefits that she has experienced along the way in her DNRS journey. Ashley is an absolute joy of a woman. She has this compassionate, kind heart and this beautiful desire to use the gift of healing and her gift of being able to bring people together to help them shine their lights brighter and collectively make a change in our world. And that is just what she is doing. This weekend coming up, she's actually offering a wonderful and free rewiring retreat. Yes, I said free. She will share some details in our chat, but I highly encourage you to sign up today while you still can if you have any experience at all in neuroplasticity or brain rewiring training. There will be something informative and fun for all levels of retrainers. Ashley will talk about her vision for a platform that brings people together on this healing journey to create ongoing support and accountability. For those of you that are new listeners or who aren't familiar with DNRS, brain retraining, or neuroplasticity, I will drop some links in the show notes for you to reference, but I will explain some terms we use briefly so that you can follow along comfortably. DNRS stands for Dynamic Neural Retraining System. It is a brain rewiring program designed by Annie Hopper. This program over time will help guide you into tapping into the self-healer you already are. We talk about rounds in this conversation. Rounds is simply referring to the actual tool we use in the program, which can be most simply described as using a combination of some wonderful tools to guide ourselves into a more positive mood. It goes way deeper than this, but this is the easiest way I can explain it for now. Lastly, I think we might mention the word "it's" in this discussion as well. And "it's" is a term we use to label all and any symptoms that we may feel and that we desire to heal. Okay, I think it's a good, healthy, simple explanation, and the rest will be expanded upon in mine and Ashley's chat today. So without further ado, welcome, Ashley.
Hello.
Thanks for being here with me today. I'm so excited to have this chat and share it with the listeners. And I wanted to start out by asking you what's going well for you today.
Oh, well, thank you for asking. Well, today is a Saturday, so that already is very well. Gotta love the weekend. I love the weekends. So today, I mean, there's so much going well. I think it's let's stick with what's going well today. I'm painting today outside, which is lovely.
Oh, your house?
Just no painting like pictures in my
Oh,
backyard.
cool.
Yeah, that's always fun to fit in art to my schedule. Always makes the day great. I think I will go paddle boarding today.
Oh, you're talking all my love languages right now. Literally. Art and paddleboarding.
I think we might take the camper van out to the coast to go paddle boarding. So that's an even funner.
Yes.
All that is good. And it's sunny. It has been foggy, very foggy. So to see the blue sky and the sun is so lovely. I think we spent all last week in fog.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, with the fires in California, I don't think I saw the sun for like 2 weeks. It was hidden behind smoke.
Yep. So I'm very happy. And it also feels like fall a little bit, which
Does it?
just just a little tiny I can feel.
Mm.
Mhm.
Mm-mm, not here. It's over 90 degrees.
No, it's hot up there. It's actually going to be a really hot weekend in general. So
Is it?
yeah.
Perfect paddleboarding weather then. Awesome. Well, thanks for sharing that. So, we're going to jump right in for the listeners, and I would love for you to share with us what brought you to DNRS, which I'm, I'm understanding is kind of the catalyst that, began your healing journey.
I think so. I mean, one of the many healing journeys. I
Mm,
can I'll be like both detailed and also not detailed at the same time. I'll just start. You kind of have to know the full story a bit. I had a really great childhood, and
that's good.
this is really interesting though. When a child, this is maybe a little um, into psychology, but I have, I'll say I have met people. I have met people who had a challenging childhood. In fact, I just met a really nice man on our camping trip. Had a really challenging childhood, and he left home, and he became such an incredibly fearless adventurer
Mm,
because he had to find his own strength really young. And it doesn't happen for everybody that way, but some people when they deal with adversity at a young age, some people manage to become very strong, capable people because they had to deal with adversity. Now, if you take a kid who had a really quite lovely upbringing till about 13 and then you bring in adversity, that can be very challenging, not more so, but it just in a different way. So that's what I experienced is, oh, I had this really great childhood and then something upsetting happened and I had an eating disorder. So I was anorexic, bulimic very badly from 13 on. That was kind of the first, I always call it like mm, the first shakiness in the nervous system, the first little, ooh, something's shaky. So when you have the limbic system impairment, it starts very small. And I see it
mhm.
as when you have this very secure nervous system and at some point something happens and it becomes a little insecure, but just a little insecure. So I was already had a little shake and then went through that for most of my life. Um, doing therapy, doing all the things you would do to work with that and try to come to wholeness. And I think then I got hit by a couple cars in my late 20s, which,
A couple?
yeah, a
Not
couple.
one, a
Yeah,
couple.
a couple. I got hit by a car.
Oh my
I
God.
was 27, and
Were you on a bike?
I was I was crossing the street. I
Oh
was
my God.
crossing the street, and there was a car going about 40, 50 miles an hour, and it just hit me. Um,
Wow.
so that was. I don't like remember. I did not break any. Nothing really bad happened to me, which is
Mm.
kind of odd in and of itself. I was running, so they said I was really loose. It was my birthday.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday. And I just woke up on the pavement and, I just had like a fractured fibula and I had hit my head really hard, super hard
Mm.
on the ground. So that happened about 27 and I didn't really notice anything more than normal, and normal being having an eating disorder.
Mhm.
And when I was 29, I got hit by another car,
What is the
this time on a
chance?
bike. Yeah, I know, it's really crazy, on a bike, and this time I broke my arm in half, so I got surgery, and yeah, so and then, my injuries from the previous accident re pain they got into pain a lot of pain, so I was in a lot of pain, and I hit my head again. So that's when I noticed the effects of trauma, I would say, or the effects
Mhm.
of just high stress, because that's what trauma really is a lot of stress in the nervous system. That's when I
Mhm.
started actually noticing it. I was like, oh, there's a lot of stress. I was like, my body won't calm down, because I've never had like typical anxiety. I've had the anxiety that comes with eating disorders, but not. I've been a pretty confident person most of my life. So that's when I really felt the the tipping over into my something's going on with my brain.
Mhm.
And then after that, I think it was like a couple more years, 2 more years, and then I'm still not sure what happened. I couldn't be positive. I had been in the same relationship that I'm in right now for about a year, I think. And it was all fine. It was good. So this is where it gets a little weird, where it's like, well, what happened? And I'm like, I don't really know. It could have been the parasite cleanse I did, because
Hmm.
right after that, my nervous system it was really weird. One day it was okay, and the next day it jumped into fight or flight feeling.
Mm.
But does that make sense? So it wasn't my brain thing.
Yeah.
It was just my nervous system. One day was like, what the fuck? And it never stopped. It didn't
Mhm.
stop. So that is kind of the weird mystery. Um, and then what came after that, because once you have an activated nervous system, it also activates, the fear in your brain, and the fear in your brain activates this cycle of what's wrong in the outside world and what can I worry about.
Mhm.
Starts a cycle of really uncomfortable things. So mine obsessed about my relationship and turned into this very uncomfortable, what people would call in the psychological world, disorganized attachment, um, which just means, and for anyone who deals with this challenge, it's just I'm really sorry. It's very challenging, but it means that you both want to be attached to people, but you can't at the same time. So there's these equal and opposite forces of, almost you would say, survival. So it's a very strong force, and part of you wants to be there and part of you can't be there. So there's this constant push and pull where you can't leave, but you can't stay.
Mm.
So that's what my limbic loops looked at, focused on the most, over and over and over again. And that kind of turned into why I showed up in DNRS.
Mhm. And we don't have to go into detail, but
Yeah.
did you, it sounds, or I'm not sure, did this lead to physical like symptoms and
Yeah, totally, totally.
okay, okay.
Not like most people have, that I that I'm friends with, had way, they have doctors telling them they have these diagnoses. I didn't want a diagnosis. Um,
Yeah.
I didn't,
Yeah.
and I don't. Yeah, I just never could get one. But yes, it did eventually. So what I want to explain, what a little bit what happened though, is what I mentioned in the beginning, that you start with this somewhat stable foundation, and each thing that upsets that or raises the stress level creates more insecurity in the brain, in the limbic brain. So when you have an eating disorder, when you get hit in the head by a car, when you get hit by another car, your limbic brain or your nervous system, pretty much same thing, they become really shaky, super
Mhm.
shaky. So then when you're dealing with all this shakiness, and then let's say you have a medical trauma, like your body just reacts badly to something, your all of your old trauma, so we call them POPs or limiting beliefs in the DNRS language,
Mhm.
they become bigger. They get exaggerated.
Yes.
So it's not that. many years ago, before the accidents, I could have probably dealt with the psychological, whatever was happening in my psychology. But with
Mhm.
the effects of more trauma, and trauma likes to root into the roots of your past trauma. So whatever you dealt with when you were a kid, as an adult, when you get these little challenges, it goes back down to those belief systems, those POPs. So now you have these exaggerated belief systems that create its,
Mhm.
and mine were a lot of digestive stuff, a lot of very uncomfortable digestive stuff, like liver, all of my organs in my body. Of course, tiredness, fatigue. I would say that I was riding on cortisol 24/7.
Mhm.
My nervous system never calmed down for like 5 years.
You felt it. It's you said something early on where you literally kind of put the association and you could actually feel that shift in your nervous
Oh,
system.
I felt it, and then yeah, and then it just stayed for a
Yeah.
long, and I just learned to live like that.
Mhm. I
Yeah.
had a very similar experience. There was like one thing that was that icing on the cake. I already had so many things, right? That were just kind of leading up to it. But I can remember a very pivotal moment of a trauma where I literally felt like the inside of my body was shaking. And I thought, I can't handle another thing
Yeah.
that causes me stress. Like I'm on the brinks of, a physical meltdown. So yeah, I very much also remember that, just feeling that immediate shift.
The brain kind, I don't want to say it breaks, because that's not a great term, but it does. That's what happens.
It it
It's
gets
like
scrambled.
yeah, it's like a vase you fill up, and it only is like, I can't take it anymore. So yeah,
Hmm.
it went over the side, and when it goes over the side, it's like, oh, pop central.
Yeah, completely understand. So how did you find DNRS? How did you stumble upon it? What brought you to it?
Should I this? I mean, I like hesitate to tell the whole story, but I I would say yes, sorry, were physical, but they're also very psychological. Like,
Hmm.
you know how the belly affects the brain, and this whole system affects each other. So there was just this
Absolutely.
incredible discomfort, psychologically, physically,
Hmm.
mentally, emotionally. And I think at one point I was considering moving to a state where they would help with assisted suicide,
Wow.
because it was I'm pretty fucking tough. So it's like, it's gotten to the point where, and it was like everyone else's story. I was in the emergency room like every week for a while. I went to all the doctors, I got all the tests, and all the tests
Mm.
were fine. And then I started going to the naturopath doctors, and they're really expensive. Their tests are,
Yes.
and they would give me supplements because, maybe one of the tests was like weird, but then the supplements would make it worse, and not better. And of course it does. Like, I mean, I could medically explain to you why it does, but I won't go into that right now. Of course it does. And
Yep.
when someone's in a state of limbic impairment, yeah, that makes sense. So I did all that, and I was just like lost. I've been to all the therapists, all the things, I've done all the stuff, it just seemed helpless. And so I was in a grocery store, and I can't even remember how the topic got started, but we met one of my, like, not close friends, but a person I know, and she mentioned DNRS.
Hmm.
I don't even think I really understood what it was. I think that I called them. You know how they're like, have a free call, and they'll call you back for like an hour. And so I called them, and I was like, okay, like they sound like they know what they're talking about exactly. And I was in. I'm like, I'm in.
That's awesome. You went right in.
That's how I do things. Everything
That's
from meditation retreats to anything. I'm like, don't think about it too much, just do it.
that's awesome. So, did you actually go to a seminar, or did you just do the at-home version?
I did. I went to the I could be the wrong year. I think it was the 2017 Ojai.
That's
Um,
so awesome.
yeah, with a lot of lovely, lovely, lovely people. Um,
Mhm.
so I went there and I was just in it. I was in it to win it. When she was like, do I can't even remember how many, like the first or maybe the second day, I can't remember what day, but the teachers are like, go do the steps,
Mhm.
like the first 5 steps, like 100 times or something ridiculous.
Yes.
I,
I
I did
think
it
you're
100.
right.
I did it 100 times.
I did too. I did it at home though, but I did do it. I did. And at that point, I thought that was the whole thing because it was just the first part of the steps. And I'm like, oh, this is it? This is all I have to do. But yeah, it's definitely a way to get it memorized really fast.
Yeah, I did that. Well, also I didn't have any money, so my mom paid for it me, and I was like, I am not gonna let this go. My mom paid like whatever thousands of dollars for me for this thing. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do
Hmm.
this. So that was
That's
that was that.
awesome. And you did it for what you said. Um, that was about 3 to 4 years.
Yeah, 3 to 4 years almost. Yep. Still, I mean,
So
still helps. Still is a wonderful vibration changer.
absolutely. That is
Yeah.
amazing. Very dedicated. So, what would you say are like what are the successes, the wins that you had along the way, milestones, when you're posting updates in your journal or on the forum? What were the things that just brought you so much joy that you highlighted, that you remember? Were the catalysts where you're like, this is working, this is making, this is changing things,
Mm.
and
Well, I'll start with two so people who are out there know that I had my I had quite a reaction to the rounds at the beginning. Um, instead of calming me down, they made it. They made my nervous system more reactive. But I
interesting.
just kept doing it. I just kept doing it.
Hmm.
There was no other option. I was
Did
just
you do
gonna do it.
calming
So
rounds?
I did. I did all of it.
And
My
the calming
my
rounds were even
Yeah, it's because I don't know if people's nervous systems. I know some people's, but mine was at a level of a 10. So like if you think 1 to a 10, I was at a 12
mhm.
for 5 years
Yeah.
with no breaks. No breaks.
Yeah.
So if you imagine trying to introduce calm to that
Yeah.
state situation, it
Absolutely. It's like, wait, wait, wait. We don't know what this is. This is scary.
yeah,
This is different.
yeah.
Yeah.
So just for people who
Okay.
have time with that, it's like I just still did it. I still did it, and then it changed.
Hmm. I had the same experience, but I noticed it specifically when I did make made up past memories.
Right. Yeah.
So whenever I made stuff up, it's like I felt that resistance in my nervous system. But I agree with you. And I said, oh, I need this more. And I kept doing it.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yep. It's
Yeah.
it's all you sometimes I even found that once in a while, like, just listening to a song that I loved in the
Hmm.
past or in the future, I would use those as and just really imagine myself in that song or in rather than saying stuff, I would just be in the music because music really changes also the
Hmm.
vibration. So I did that
Absolutely.
too. Yeah, when it was
That's
really
awesome.
uncomfortable. Like, I'm still gonna do the steps because really it's about stopping, recognizing what's happening and stopping it and getting to a good feeling. And the visualizations are a way to get. Yeah.
Yeah. And there's a lot of ways to do that too, if you
Mhm.
need to. So my guess is that you're going to talk about a success when that kind of shifted.
Oh,
Is that where
yeah,
you're
I mean,
going?
I don't remember when it shifted. Thank you for getting back to me,
Yeah.
but it did shift. I think the
Uh-huh.
first year I let's see, the first year I started, we went to travel to Europe for 3 months. So that was a big, awesome thing to do. I think it was like 8 months after I started,
Wow,
went on a
that's
big trip.
huge.
That was awesome. I think it was so over time. It was so over time. Like so, like I couldn't pinpoint and say, "Oh, that's when that stopped." But I know after about a year and a half, 2 years, I been so long, I don't remember anymore. Like all the
Mm.
physical it's had stopped. So I could eat anything. I still don't eat dairy because I have actually like an allergy to that, and I haven't really wanted to deal with it because I've never eaten cheese in my life,
Mhm.
and I don't really care about cheese.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
Well, and that's the thing that's empowering is we get to just make choices. Like, hey, I can work on rewiring this or just not.
yeah. So I, the stomach thing, oh gosh, yeah, it got so much better, and then my nervous system also started to calm down, so I could do yoga again.
Mm.
It was amazing because I couldn't do that for a long time because it was too slow. But I could do yoga, and I learned. I think last year or the year before, I did a. got into TM meditation, transcendental meditation.
Nice.
I love meditation, but I couldn't do that before. So
Mm.
that was awesome. Um, oh, I did start a business. I think a year after. Yeah, a year after I started a face painting kids entertainment business in this area.
Fun.
Yeah,
That's so fun.
it had its like ups and downs, but it really helped me move my brain's focus because my brain was very obsessive about how do I fix the relationship. As I told you, that was the exact,
Hmm.
and so it really helped me shift the focus off of it to this other thing that I was doing, and then I did it until COVID, and now of course I'm not working, and it really helped me. Just I didn't. It's kind of like I didn't need to focus on that thing. I just needed space to move through it where I wasn't focusing on it.
Hmm.
Oh,
Yeah.
here's another good one. Oh my gosh. Um, I've had an eating disorder for so long, 25 years, 25 years. Um, and it's like 99.9% better.
Mm. That's a
Yeah,
huge win.
it's huge. I remember when my goal in life was to be able to eat food with my friends and relax,
Yes.
which seems so normal to people, but that was,
Right? Yeah.
and I do it all the time. There's no other, I don't have, there's no other pathway open anymore. That's it. That's it.
That is that is
So
awesome.
awesome. So
Oh, that's so good to hear.
yeah, I don't count calories anymore. I don't do those weird obsessive things. So, and my relationship, I think, with movement has gotten is so much improved.
Mm.
So much improved. And my body, oh my gosh, so much, oh, just like so much improved.
Your body is so happy with you.
Yeah, yeah, because DNRS in a way gave me a way to not have to, it wasn't like go get psychologically fixed.
Hmm.
It was like focus on positive things.
Yeah.
And that really actually helps a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you're literally, we are taught, we're giving this beautiful tool that literally teaches us that we have a choice
Yep.
and the power to choose to step into a positive emotion. It's not fake it till you make it, rah, rah, everything's perfect. It's like, hey, I have a choice right now to go in my bedroom and shut the door and bring myself into this positive space where my body actually feels a physiological shift in this emotion.
Yep.
Yeah, it's so I just get excited just thinking about that because it's so
It's
empowering.
so empowering. And it's just, I remember reading how people with OCD, like really bad OCD, how their treatment plan. And when I thought about them, because basically what they have to do is when they want to do something, so they want to, I don't know, touch a doorknob really bad, they can't do it. Like they have to hold themselves back from doing it. And that's for now, probably in the future, hopefully there'll be easier ways of dealing with it. But that's how they stop those compulsions. And I just would think about how hard they have to work. Like this, there are people in the world who have to do really hard things to be well. And so when this practice became like, I have to choose to stop this pop right now, I have to choose to take a break, I have to choose this thing, I would just think about I'm not the only one here doing this. There's a lot of other people who have these life journeys, these paths that take this kind of commitment.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not alone, and I'm not going to just like, I'm not going to give up, because
Yeah.
they can't give up.
Yeah. Well, oh, they could, but where would that lead them?
No, they
Where
can't.
would that lead any of us?
You can't. You can't. You just have to keep going with gentleness and patience.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I kind of feel once you learn that you can take your power back, how I just for me, I could never give it away again. you
No,
know?
beautiful. Yeah. Yeah.
So that is all awesome. And I'm so excited for you. I think those are huge wins.
Yeah.
And I thank you for sharing.
Oh, I'll to share another one. Here's another
Okay,
one. I was just like,
share away.
oh, this one. My family was, I didn't have the best connections, let's say, with my family, um, because of the past. And you know what? I pretty much not fixed them. That's not the right word. I found in my heart this place where I could connect without anger or fear or resentment,
Mm,
and where I this is still in progress, but where I feel like I deserve this love and care.
mm, that's
But
huge.
just getting back in touch with my family, with my grandma who's 101,
Wow.
and being having, this connection between my dad and I, and my mom and my sister and I, all these healing things where if 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 I hadn't been the one to reach out and do it, it would have never gotten to where it is now. So I'm very grateful for that. Is a huge part of my healing, and I think comes from a big part of it comes from doing the memories and reminding myself, oh my gosh, like, and just doing the work and recognizing eventually that, oh, they're just human too.
Absolutely. Yeah. Gosh, you know what? I feel the same way. I don't know if you did ever made up memories.
Hmm.
I did, but in doing that, what I personally learned was it started bringing me back into my childhood, and then it because I was so focused on positives, it started bringing me back to all these really beautiful positive experiences I did have,
Hmm.
and it helped me see my family in a completely different light. And I don't know if my mom is going to listen to this, but for me, things were on my end a little rough for a while. There was a struggle where we were butting heads really bad. And I didn't realize until I was doing this work that I had some serious resentment built up, and it's gone. It's just, I can see from this work, I see all the beautiful layers of how she showed up as a mother. And I have this totally different respect and appreciation now today that I didn't 1 year ago.
Yep, I think that's
Yeah.
a big part of all of this. Yeah.
Hmm. Yeah. And that's worth everything.
Oh, it really, it makes my heart just glow.
Hmm.
Like,
Yeah.
my family, just knowing that they're there, and without those vibrations of like hate or resentment, it's just an amazing healing. Yeah. And
Absolutely.
to be able to tell them what I'm going through and have them be patient and care, and has been really great too. And to be able to speak more calmly with them in times of conflict, because I'm focused on this solution oriented, positive, expressing my feelings with um, with owning them,
Hmm.
to communicate better. in
Yeah.
So that's been really cool to see that I'm the one who kind of can bring people together, not
Hmm.
even intentionally. It's just like I'm good at it now.
That's awesome. It's a
Yeah,
gift.
it is a gift.
It's funny because I was going to ask you um, if there were many mental perspective shifts from DNRS so that it wasn't just about the physical. And I feel like we kind of just went in that direction naturally.
For me, it's all about the psychological. I think for
Hmm.
different people, it's different, and that's just per their life circumstances, and that's awesome. But for me, mine it always has been mainly psychological um, and dealing with, mm, what do you call that? Just insecurity,
Mhm.
general deep insecurity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hear you. In my podcast intro, I talked about how about just a few months into DNRS, my driving force wasn't even the physical stuff is what brought me into it. But the minute I realized that I had this empowering ability to actually create and manifest my whole story and change my story and change my behaviors, that was huge. And it was the catalyst. That was what kept me going. I was like, okay, who cares about the physical stuff? That's going to all fall to the wayside when I get this mind right.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so, yeah, so I completely understand. Lots of great stuff that you're sharing, lots of kind of milestones, successes, wins, things that we're talking about. Do you feel that they're like, so looking at everything,
Yeah.
do you feel there's one thing that's like the greatest gift from all of this?
Let me just sit with that question for a second. The greatest gift in all of this, yes. I feel like I am still coming into it. I feel like for myself, I have taken the long road of blossoming
Mm-hmm.
because that's what I wanted. That's what I chose. And that's the situation in my life I'm in. So I have to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm being met with, I peeled back the layers of the onion and
Yes.
I'm at the center of the onion. I have
Mm.
those beliefs. I see you, I see you, I see you. Oh, I see the cause of all of this from an emotional, psychological perspective. I'm like, okay, I'm
Mm-hmm.
in the heart of this. So I could say that what it is giving me is a sense of my deepest, truest, most authentic self.
Mm.
And that
I love
that
it.
is a process, and and I don't know if it's ever done. I don't know if it's ever like, "Oh, I'm done." But
Mm-mm.
by by being able to be empowered to change my life and change my mind, and even if it's not perfect every day or whatever, each day I grasp that tool, I become my own hero. And
Mm.
it's something I learned in psychology a long time ago is that there's this triangulation between hero, perpetrator, and victim. And as long as you're in the world and you're either calling someone a hero, that could be a doctor or someone, I feel like, or a perpetrator, it could be an it, uh,
Mm-hmm.
whatever it is. But as long as there's someone else in this triangle, it's going to be really hard for you to get to heal properly all the way. So, in order to do that, I have to become my own hero. No one else is my hero. I'm my own hero. I recognize that the perpetrator is possibly my limbic brain. Oh, that's doing that. Okay, well, I'm the hero. I can take care of that. And the victim, there doesn't have to be a victim, but you could look at it like the child inside of you that you get to hold and have compassion for. So you're holding this cycle in you, and for me, that's how I feel most. Um, I begin to feel most like myself.
Mm-hmm.
Most
This is
secure.
the best analogy I've ever heard to explain this.
Yeah, it's becoming secure. If anyone has read books on attachment, which are awesome, they're very interesting, but the whole process of limbic impairment is basically on the basic level, it's just insecurity,
Mm-hmm.
emotional insecurity that creates, of course, because our emotions are deeply connected to our physiological being, creates insecurity in the nervous system, in the brain, which over time uh, can become this overwhelming limbic impairment, these autoimmune disorders, these inflammatory disorders, all this stuff. It's all connected. So, on a base level, we are coming into our own self security. And that is the greatest gift you can have because when you're secure and authentic, you shine a light that is so incredibly contained and bright that people have to take notice of it, and you can really help change the world.
Mm-hmm.
You become that change
Mm-hmm.
because
Yeah.
you're no longer carrying anyone else's darkness or any of your own insecurity. You're carrying this security. And even if it's not perfect, even if you're like, oh, today I felt bad about myself, it's like, as long as you notice that and can have compassion for that,
Yeah.
you're still doing it. You're still doing it.
100%. It's
Yeah.
progress, not perfection.
No, no.
And it's a journey. It's a journey. I think it's a life journey.
I'm still on the journey. I'm on the
Yeah.
journey every day, especially in a relationship, in a primary partnership. You are on that journey.
Yeah. I agree.
Even if someone's like completely caring and awesome and wonderful, you're still on that journey with them. So, yeah,
Yeah, but what better journey to be on than your own hero's journey?
it's, I feel like Odysseus, or who are these other like heroes that went on these great, I do. I feel like that. Definitely feel like that. And we all are. And I think I've always seen DNRS as this tool for creating superheroes. um, if that,
Mm.
excuse me, if that's where people choose to take it. People,
Mm-hmm.
and people can choose to take it again as far as they want, to where they feel like, oh, this is good for me, I'm recovered, and that's totally fine. But you can choose to take it, and you can choose to acknowledge, this is the funny part. It's like, we've already all done this practice, and we think it's normal at this point to do this practice. And we forget that what we did was we saved our own lives, a life
Yes.
that no $500 an hour doctor could have fixed, a life that,
Mm-mm.
the most amazing naturopath or the most amazing Western doctor and the most amazing blah blah blah, they couldn't fix. The
Mm-mm.
biofeedback that I did that cost so much money, it didn't do anything. You know, they couldn't fix that.
Mm-mm.
And I think we forget, and I forget, that we have just changed our lives. We have changed our brain chemistry. We have changed our physiology. We have changed our emotional state. And that is incredible. It is beyond this world. It is beyond this world. And I think because it is so normal to some of us at this point, we forget. It's like saying, "Oh, celebrate, celebrate." But dude, we're a medical miracle, all of us. A
Mm-hmm.
medical miracle.
Yes.
And because nobody's coming to us going, "You're a medical miracle," I think we forget what we did. And because life always has new avenues and aspects to deal with, but we are a medical miracle. We're super human. That's all I have to say about that.
Mm-hmm. I love it. I'll take it. I'll be superhuman. Why not? No, it's true. I do. It's something for me though that I try every single day to remind myself and praise myself and be like, like you showed up for yourself, because this work is simple, but it's not easy. And
No.
to show up day in and day out and day in and day out, I want the world to experience this. I think everyone could benefit, but it takes a great deal of commitment and discipline to show up for yourself over and over, especially on the days it's really hard and you butt heads with that resistance. So for me, I've definitely learned to really not take it for granted and really remind myself every day,
I love
even if it's a day that I might only do half of my commitment, it's like, hey, you still showed up
it.
and
I
you're
love
still
it.
all
That's so
in.
great.
And that's, like you're here.
So great.
And that's all part for me. It's been a huge catalyst in self-love. And yeah, like you've said the word over and over, is self-compassion.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah. Did you ever watch that movie, The Hero's Journey by, I think it's Campbell?
Didn't. No. Was that Joseph Campbell?
Uh,
The
Joseph Campbell. It's a great
mythologist.
movie. Yeah,
Oh,
watch it
I
for
didn't.
just like when you need some inspiration.
Okay. I'll
Say it
totally
again.
watch it.
Yeah,
It's a
it's good.
book. Yeah, I think.
What is it? Yes, it's a book and it was made into a movie. It's a really good movie.
Okay. I will watch it.
So I guess I was gonna, so this is a tool. Do you see yourself using it for life?
Using it for life. Using it for life. No, definitely not.
No?
There is an
Oh,
end date.
okay.
There's
You just don't know what that is yet.
but but there is an end date. We'll say and
Yeah.
there are things that I will do differently that evoke similar responses. So
Hmm.
um, that will be like the ritual of the day. So I'll still
I gotcha.
have the similar ritual, but it might look more like I meditate for an hour a day
Yeah.
because that's what I really like. Or I do prayer and ritual in the mornings on my altar because that's what really feels good to me. So it's again finding ourselves, these places, these things that feel good, that I feel like eventually I'll transition just to those things, and that's what will hold me as I continue to grow. And
Hmm.
I love growing stuff, but as I said, I really believe I'm at the center of my onion. Uh, so
Yes.
I'm not quite sure what happens when you don't have that there anymore.
I don't know.
It's
I
gonna
wrote
be
a poem about peeling back the layers of
pretty
the
much
onion
it.
too, in regarding my healing journey.
I'm like,
So
this is the. I mean, I've been looking for it for 25 years. So,
yeah.
but no, I think as long as it needs to be, I enjoy it. But it will be replaced by some other really awesome, lovely thing someday.
Yeah, so you're going to have tools. I mean, and basically you're committed to doing things that help you feel good.
I'm committed to doing things that or yeah, doing things that help me feel good. Not even that help me feel good, that feel good.
That feel good. Yes, that's a way
Go there.
better way to
Yeah.
put it. That feel good. Hmm.
Yeah.
I wonder if our I wonder if the resistance to doing the things that feel good ever completely go away, or if there's always a little bit, or if we always have moments where we kind of bump up against it.
I'm sure. I mean,
I
there's
guess.
always glass ceilings. There's always glass. If you're growing, you'll meet a glass ceiling. But
Hmm.
you don't have to continue to exponentially grow your whole life. Like you could get to a point where you're like, I like this is good for now. You can
I
just chill
like me
out.
right now. We're good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Totally.
But no, I feel you. Yeah.
Hmm.
Oh, I was gonna say joy is an interesting thing to retrain. It's an
Yeah.
interesting thing to retrain when all you've experienced is the opposite for a long time. So
Absolutely.
yep.
Yeah. Like experiencing calm after you've experienced a heightened nervous
Exactly.
system.
Pleasure,
Yeah. Yeah.
experience very uncomfortable sensations, you know, just takes time. It takes time and really a lot of compassion. Because
Hmm.
in the rounds, you can do them many different ways, but if you can do them with love and compassion, you're doing two things at the same time.
Yes. So true.
Yeah.
So true. I don't know if this was your experience, but I have to say this as a quick side note and then I'm going to move on. When I sometimes do my rounds, I am on top of the world and I'm so excited. And I just love that I'm this manifester and that I get to create my life. And I tell myself, how could you not want to do this every day, all the time? And then, like, the next day comes up and I go through that resistance where I don't want to today. And I have all these other things I want to do. And it's like, but wait, don't you remember yesterday how good it felt? It's
Um,
just,
yes, for sure. For sure. I think it's only human. I know some people are way more organized. I mean, I'm a very organized person, but not a routine person.
me
Some
neither.
people have these amazing routines where like, I did 2 in the morning, I did 2 in the evening. And I'm like, wow, you're incredible. I'm like, I'm not like that. So I guess there's a couple things like that I do for that. I do try to plan my day the best I can. I have a little day planner that I fill out in the evening before, and I put in when I'm going to do my rounds. It doesn't always happen like that, but I, even if it's late at night, like 11 o'clock, I'll finish my rounds.
Oh,
Even if
so
I
good.
fall asleep doing it, I will do it. But another thing is having accountability buddies is lovely. Especially if you're just starting out. It's so great to get a buddy and then we do these 21 to 30-day accountability practices where you text each other when you're done and share something you're grateful for. So that's been very helpful as well for me.
Nice.
Yeah.
What would be your one message to the listeners for anyone out there who they're in the rut, they're in the thick of it, they don't know where to go next, they've tried all the things outside of themselves, and they're feeling lost right now. They're listening to this, they're kind of inspired, they're intrigued, they're curious. What's your message for everybody out there?
I would say everyone has their own path first. And so when I say something worked for me, I know that DNRS can work for everybody. I know it, but some people don't have the stamina, or have the conviction I think that I had and a lot of other people have. And I think that eventually people will find their way, their own way. I believe that if you believe in yourself and you believe in your journey, and it's really hard sometimes, that you'll find your way. Um, and I would say definitely don't give up. The world is changing and growing in beautiful, amazing ways. And there are answers here right now because I didn't know DNRS existed at some time and then it did. And I was like, what? This is insane. This exists. But more answers are coming.
Yes.
And any of the answers that you get that are self empowering, that are you empowering, that you take control, I believe that is the answer you want to choose, whatever that looks like. Yeah, that's what I
I
would
love it. Thank you for sharing. I love it. All right, Ashley, guess what?
say.
I want you to get to tell me about what you have going on these days because I want the listeners to know all about this super amazing, wonderful virtual retreat you have coming up.
Okay. I need more water, but I can't get it right now. Um, okay, so this is very new. This was COVID inspired. A moment of inspiration is what created this. But we have the Rewiring Wellness Retreat coming up September 19th and 20th. It's from 9 to 1 p.m. PDT, that's Pacific Daylight Time, on that Saturday and Sunday. And this retreat, this specific retreat, because there will be more retreats in the future, but this retreat is really for people who have done a brain retraining program already of some kind, or may have started it and not finished it. Something where they know the basics of like DNRS, Gupta, Joe Dispenza. I think there's some other thing, lightning process, different things like that, where people understand this idea of neuroplasticity and what it takes to actually shift your brain chemistry, to shift your physiology. So those are the invitees for this specific retreat.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So we have some good, amazing speakers. We have laughter yoga, Bianca Spears, Robert Rivest. We have Lindsay Mitchell, who's created her own very awesome programs that are for healing chronic illness and creating more neuroplasticity in the brain. She's amazing. And then we have a bunch of amazing speakers who are actually both recovered DNRS people and people who are in the emergent thrive phase of recovery. So that is really awesome that we have these people who are ready to step into more of their, hey, I have something to share with you role and just help everybody.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And where can they find you?
They can find me at www.rewiringyourwellness.com.
Awesome. I'll actually be adding a link in the show
There is
notes.
I'll just give a little bit of background information on. So Rewiring Your Wellness itself is a platform, what I want to start calling a platform for wellness in rewiring your brain. So this will be a place eventually. Right now it is the hub for this retreat. as well as an awesome blog that is still in the works, but we will have about, oh gosh, so many. How many was it? It was like 3 to 4 posts a week on the blog from different speakers, from different writers. Trying to think of lots of different cool topics, many different amazing topics. So that is the first offering after the retreat. But in all eventuality, this will be a place to find buddies, to create WhatsApp groups, to find different projects or processes or teachers or courses. And we'll also have a podcast, probably not until 2021, really, at this point. And we'll also have a really awesome store to just buy cute little brain related, wellness related, fun celebration gifts for people or friends.
I love it. I can't wait to see it.
It's going to take its time. It's going to unfold naturally, and we'll also
Absolutely.
have more events in the future too. Yeah, so that's kind of the awesomeness that everyone is creating together. It's not just me. It really is because of the interests of the participants and the speakers. It is everybody.
Yes.
I would not have wanted to do it by myself. I'll just say that. I'm happy to be collaborating, and um, my friend Holly from Happy Chill Fun Time is hosting it with me, and she's made these incredible. I don't know if you listened to them yet, but they
Yeah, she's adorable.
podcasts ever. The 10-minute vacation mini meditation podcasts, Happy Chill Fun Time, so amazing, and um, yeah,
I'm gonna have to get her on the show so she can talk about it. It's so cute.
so cute. She's awesome, and my friend Kelsey is. She's been creating her meditation presence. She's a meditation teacher. And so all these wonderful people who are coming into the world and stepping into their wholeness. This is just a great way to do it together.
And the world needs it now more than ever.
It really does. Yeah. And
Yeah.
we're such cool people. I think you call it like stepping out with each other, that I want to give them all the praise that they deserve.
Absolutely. Yes, I love it. I'm so excited. I will be joining in on all of this good stuff. And where can people find you personally? Are you in the world of social media?
I am. I'm not. I'm kind of like of the older. What generation am I? I'm the 38-year-old generation that knows a little bit about social media, but it's not that much. So my feed is not the most beautiful, but whatever. It's colorful. You can find me at Rose Colored Warrior. It's exactly how it sounds at on Instagram, and I believe on Facebook.
Well, you've been doing those really cool little mini lives on Fridays.
Yeah, the Rewire Live
Yeah,
Instagram takeovers Fridays at noon PDT.
I
Um,
love it.
and they're also saved on IGTV if anyone wants to look at it too. There, yeah,
And for anyone listening right now, I just wanted to say that I highly recommend these little lives. They're absolutely fun, and you don't need to be in a brain retraining program to experience the benefits of them and to just learn some really cool, simple tricks and tips. So I would
it's true.
really encourage the Friday lives.
It is true. I
Yes.
forgot what I was going to mention something else. Oh yeah, we are also have are starting. We kind of have to build this Facebook community, because this will be where people can meet up in order to make groups
Mm-hmm.
of collaboration and connection, and it's called I think it's called Rewiring Wellness Community on Facebook.
Okay, I'll
Yeah,
make sure I put that
yeah,
exact link in the show notes too for
awesome,
you.
cool. Yep, that's it.
Awesome. Awesome, Ashley. Do you have anything else that you feel inspired or called to share with the listeners that I have not asked you about yet?
And I feel like we've talked about everything.
It's been fun.
Well, I guess I would say if there's people out there who get the message and they want to collaborate, I'm looking for some artists to do some t-shirt designs, to do some designs on different things that are all wellness brain related. I would love to work with people who are healing and healed and in this wellness community to do that. Always looking for people to talk with, to collaborate with, to present on the platform itself if there is a amazing offering that I really think would benefit our people. Like let's work together. Let's really rise together in all of this and take each other along with us to our healing and wholeness.
I love it. Thank you
Yeah.
for sharing.
Mhm.
Awesome. All right. Well, with that, then I think we'll leave it at that.
Woo, woo.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right, self healers, that is a wrap. I hope that you received some inspiration in Ashley's message today. I know I did. And I thank you once again for being here on this healing journey with me and tuning in weekly. If this message resonates with you, I ask that you please download, rate, and review to help me get the message I am sharing out as far and wide as possible, because I think it is an important message for people out there to hear. And if you have a friend who could benefit from this story shared today, send them a text right away with the link. And until next time, make this week great. I'm your host, Chas Smith.